What is the heading? Construction business ideas and how much? Well, some of these would cost you to start. Someone asked me a question yesterday, and yes, I have the knowledge. Why not just give it to you sometimes? I gave it to you. It won't be a long video. I'll break down a few things. So if you're watching DOREEN'S African Experiences, chances are high you either stumbled upon me accidentally, or you're into construction or real estate, or you are interested in the field of real estate or construction. And the industry, in the construction industry, is very wide. It consists and what lighting and noons. Ooh, I look good. Wait, oh, that was to myself, quite unprofessional. Let me be professional. Like I was saying, yeah, the lighting here is actually very good. I look so good. So let me give you a couple ideas for those who are trying to get into business. That is all part of construction. Things you can actually start and make some good money. In Uganda, I don't know about the rest of Africa, but you can buy the idea and expound on it into what you feel you can actually do. Number one, we'll start with the basic hardware. Now, our hardware can consist of very many things. There are different things you can do with the hardware, and you don't need a lot of capital, surprisingly. You see, some of you actually think to start a hardware, you need to have capital. Nope. You do have to have space, you have to have rent money, of course, money to pay for your license, and then workers' money. But if you don't have capital, what you can do, you can partner with the different distributors, heavy distributors of, let's say, cement. You can find someone who is distributing cement, and you talk to them and you get them to give you merchandise and you sell it, and then you split the money afterwards. You take off the profit and you give them their initial money. For example, someone can tell you, I'm going to give you a bag of cement. Right now, cement is at 35,500. So they say, I'll give you 32 to 33,500. So someone can say, I'll give you a bag at 31,500, and that's what I expect to get back. So if I give you 200 bags of cement, I expect to get back the rest of the money, and for you just take off your profit. And then going forward, you can slowly accumulate money to actually start buying your own merchandise. So this is common with cement. Now, if you want to start an entire hardware, depending on your location, if you are in Kampala, I'm sorry, your capital is going to be hefty. But if you're outside Kampala or nearby areas of Kampala, you might need, for just a startup, you might need capital ranging between 8 million Ugandan shillings, and this is without rent or setup money, just merchandise money. You might need between 8 million Ugandan shillings to any amount. You know, the two is unlimited. You can have even 50 million and start a hardware, 20 million and you start, 15 and you start. But the least amount of money I should be expecting you to start a serious hardware is 8 million Ugandan shillings. Why? Of that 8 million Ugandan shillings with merchandise, you might buy maybe 100 bags of cement. And those could even, that's like one of the most expensive parts. And then you buy some nails. So basically, I would advise you to first stock up things that are sold or sell on a daily basis. You have the basics. You have the cement. You have the nails. Then to get into steel bars, you take a little bit of time to get into steel bars, because capital for steel bars is heavy. One steel bar is going for about 75, 50, minimum of 32. I've done a video on that. So imagine if you have to stock up on steel bars. No one is going to come to your shop to buy 1 or 2 steel bars. No. See, so you need to have almost 5 million independent just for steel bars. That's a small startup. So you can wait up on the steel bars. You can start small. You can just start with cement and maybe a couple nails here and there, and maybe a few tools like tape measures, those small things that people are going to take up. You can get some paint brushes, and then you build on that. But realistically, the most ideal amount of money you should be starting a hardware with is 20 million Ugandan shillings. But I always say start with what you have and start where you are and then build off that. Okay, so that's those are like 2 steps in that. That's like 2 points. The third point would be you can get into the sand industry. The sand industry is quite interesting. Why? All you need is space. The turn boys will show up. You don't even have to invite them. Those boys are everywhere. You'll be there, you put your sand, they'll come. They'll say, hey, tuja kuchangirako msenyi, we shall fill the trucks and stuff like that. You don't even have to pay those people. For them, they hustle their own way out. Why? Because when a truck comes to buy sand, that truck always comes with its own loaders. So these boys are always on the sidelines waiting for trucks to come. And then they're like, hey, can we load for you? You give us something. So this is not your cost. This is the cost of the person who has come to buy. Then now for that sand you can buy in wholesale. So basically you can just buy 4 Sinotracs. You buy 3 Sinotracs of lake sand and 1 Sinotrac of plaster sand. These 3 Sinotracs of lake sand, you can buy 2 Sinotracs of what is that clean, that the washed sand? Raider. So you can buy 2 Sinotracs of Raider because Raider is the most purchased, right? And then one Sinotrac of the other type of sand, and then maybe you get a box body of the brown sand. All this is like sand, the different grains. You get like box bodies and pile that sand there, and make sure you surround it and have someone chunk it, have someone work for you, just one person to manage. Capital for that is regular. It's about 7 million to 10 million. That's all you need. All right. Space for a business like that, you don't even have to get a trading license. You're ready. All you have to find is space. So that is one part of construction. The other part of construction, you could start a hardware specifically selling paint. You don't have to sell one company. You can sell multiple companies, and then you just deal in paint and things that are paint related. Paint is expensive, but not that expensive. Million Sato. So paint, the capital to actually start a hardware that strictly deals in paint could be, it's not much, but it's also not little. For that, I would recommend you look for about 10 million going up. But with 10 million Ugandan shillings, you can actually start a paint hardware, strictly paint and anything paint related. All right, so you can dive into Plascon because it's the most purchased company, and then you get some saddling here and there. You get at least 2 companies or 3 for starters, and then you wait. And then of course you can integrate other things in this painting business, and then you expand slowly. And if you have over 30 million, you can conjoin. You can do a regular hardware conjoined within a paint hardware. You can mix them all, both of them. You can have steel, you can have paint, you can have cement, you can have all these things all in one. But all these things can survive independently without the other, and you can still make some money. Then in the construction industry, we have things to do with plumbing. So you can basically start a shop that strictly deals in plumbing. All right? Plumbing equipment. What is plumbing equipment? Plumbing equipment, we have sinks, we have those pipes, plumbing pipes, we have toilets, we have bathtubs, we have mirrors. You can actually strictly deal in those PVCs. You can deal in those small junctions or conjunctions of pipe. You can have all these things to do with plumbing. The capital for those is not much. It's actually the cheapest to start. For that, you need maybe 5 million Ugandan shillings going up. But with 5 million Ugandan shillings, you can actually start a plumbing business, strictly plumbing. And then you can start electrical wiring business. You can go and buy things to do with electricity, wiring, because that is also part of construction. You can buy the different wires, the earth wires, you buy the copper wires, you buy all these wires, Those you can also use around 7 million going up for capital, and then you get some you get some bulbs, you get a couple of things. All these are part of construction. All these can be integrated if you have enough capital, but if they can't be integrated, they can also work independently. Continuing, still part of construction, you can go and become a broker. What type of broker? There are different types of broker. You can become a real estate broker or a land broker. A real estate broker, all a real estate broker needs is connections. Hi, Africano, how are you? Thanks for coming on. So a real estate broker, for this, you don't even need to have more than 2 million of capital, 2 million Ugandan shillings. All you need is yourself. You have to be very, very free-spirited. You need to have a smartphone. You have to have good internet connections. And if possible, you need to have a means of transportation. You don't even have to have an office, but it would be best if you had an office. So if you don't have an office, you just need to have means of transportation. For example, you can own a motorbike or you can own a car. Why? Because in real estate, when someone comes and they want to rent something, buy something, you have to take them there to show them. Photos on phone are not enough. People need tours. So here, your capital is going to be you, connections, to know who has what, who is selling, who wants to. That's it. And then you also have to create a social media presence. Get on TikTok, get on Facebook, post your work. Just post. Then you can work together with people who are already in the industry. You can have them integrate you into their work. But usually brokers don't like sharing. They don't share, so they end up being independent. So you need to get a motorbike, or you can always have your border guy if you don't own a motorbike, and say, hey, my border guy is going to take us, here, Uganda, I show you this house, or stuff like that. And then have some business cards if you're going to go and be a broker for either land or real estate. Then you have to have connection. I can't emphasize this enough. You have to know people. Not just, if you're going to do land, real estate, you have to know people, not just in who own property, but people who actually manage property, in the sense that people in the land board, because you have to verify some of this data that you collect. So that the capital is not stated, it's not stipulated, but that's what you need. All right. And then secondly, if you don't want to be a broker, there is another thing. You can actually start a constructions company. Constructions companies are diverse. My advice, if you want to start a constructions company, you need to have an office, number one. Number two, get it registered and approved. It's not a hectic process. It's very simple. Number three, start putting yourself out there. The first jobs are always hard to get, but the moment you establish yourself like this and people know you, you've identified the right builders, you've identified different types of builders, because there are different types of builders, The capital to start a proper constructions company could actually cost you up to 20 million Ugandan shillings. Not at once, but going forward, that's how much it would cost you. What else do you do in construction? There is a lot you can actually do terrazzo. You can start a terrazzo company, where for you, you simply specialize and specify in terrazzo. You can start a tiling company where you just tile. All these things, these are just skills. You can go and acquire these skills, or you hire people who have these skills, and then you set up an office somewhere whereby people hire you to simply tile. That's it. For you, you go on someone's site to just tile. All slating stones is putting these wall stones. So people can hire you for you to go, and your job is to just slate. Terrazzo is the same thing. Painting is the same thing. All these are possible businesses, and these things that I'm stating now don't require too much capital. Owning a company that paints, you don't have to even paint. You just have to hire the right people that know how to paint and know what they're doing. Educate yourself on the field and make sure you have at least 10 million Uganda shillings on you. Set up an office and advertise. For any business you try to do this year, advertise, even if it seems so small. Oftentimes I tell people, put your company, put your work out there. You don't know who is watching. It's the same thing. Me, when I have even the smallest idea, I'm going to come maybe make a live or talk about it in a video, because I don't know who is watching me. I don't know who will watch me, Oftentimes, because some of us don't keep journals consistently anymore, we just talk about our ideas. Yes, people take them, and that's okay, But someone can actually come and find your idea, even without you knowing. There are people out there who have the capital, but they don't have ideas to, invest in. So if someone hears what your idea is and they can buy it and they love it, these people are willing to invest. Follow? But all in all, you can do anything in the construction industry without worrying about stipulated capital, because the minimum capital you need to do construction is around 5 million Ugandan shillings, any type of construction, because I can tell you to make bricks, but you may not have the time, but you can make bricks, because I own almost half an acre of clay soil, If I woke up today, all I would need is like 7 million capital to go hire people to make for me those bricks and resell and get out probably even 25 to 30 M out of that. If you don't even have to buy this land, you can just rent it, because this land is mostly rented out. You go and say, I want to rent this part of the clay soil. Find out the depth, how much clay you can get out, and then rent it, and then hire boys to make for you. But if you're going into that business, you have to be prepared. It's hectic. You have to be there full time. Otherwise, people can count that they've made a certain number of bricks and then they've not made them. For example, for every 1,000 bricks, for every 1,000 clay bricks, you're supposed to pay a certain amount of money. You're supposed to have someone who extracts, someone who cleans, someone who sorts, someone who makes, then someone who moves, that actually cover these bricks. You get? The construction industry is so wide, in that if you woke up in the morning and you wanted to do something in real estate, it's not just building and selling. There is other things you can do and make good money. You can buy concrete block machines, and then you can make blocks. You can also make pavers. You can, there are many things. But for that one, to get a good machine, you might need around 30 million. And that's just a machine without space, But you can get one for 20 million, 25 million, But at the end of the day, I said a good machine, The compression is good, the output is good, you have multiple scales. Going forward, you can do anything in the construction industry. The construction industry is so wide, in that if you wanted to start a business in the construction industry, it should be one of the easiest things you ever do if you have capital. But some parts of the construction industry, some businesses are hard to calculate, because if things in hardware, like in the line of hardwares, those are easy. You can just know, I have 20 bags of cement. How many have you sold? 5. I expect to have money for 5 bags. You can even start a business that strictly just sells tiles, only tiles. and people will still support and you still make money off. Don't limit yourself. Don't think I want to start a hardware but I don't have this kind of capital. Look for different parts of a hardware and say, what can you actually afford to do? For me, I can only afford to sell paint. Start that, do that, sell that, and people will buy. And then integrate slowly. Or you don't even have to integrate, you can just expand. Are we together? I made this video because someone asked me yesterday how much can 15 million start a hardware, and I didn't give them a proper answer because I was hesitant and I was in a different mood. But I hope today I've answered your question. With 15 million Ugandan shillings, you can definitely start a hardware. All right, let me leave you guys. I think I've answered your questions, and thank you for watching me. And thank you for your time. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful evening. Morning for those who are in states where you just woke up, and see you. Bye.